Chapter 8. You should rest. Your body needs sleep to heal. I'll wake you around 6 for dinner, Sky said. Ernie didn't argue. He wasn't up to it. He eased himself down and closed his eyes, breathing through the pain. Sky picked up the edible herb book again. She didn't need to read it, her photographic memory guaranteed she'd retain every detail, but it kept her mind occupied. When she finished, she grabbed a book on traps, snares, and fortifications. Around 5, she heard muffled voices in the next room. Is there anything left? A frightened young woman whispered. Not much. I found a few things shoved under the shelves, a strained young man replied. What are we going to do? The kids, her voice cracked. Keep looking. We've found enough to last a few days. The voices woke Ernie. His eyes snapped open, instinct kicking in before his brain caught up. He looked at Sky, concern tightening his features. Sky. I didn't build all this to let a family starve, he whispered. But I'm not sure we can trust opening the door. Sky was already moving, grabbing 2 boxes and taping the lids together. Is there another way out? Ernie blinked. You're going out there? Sky didn't look up. They have kids. They're desperate. If we don't help them, they'll die. Ernie pushed himself upright, wincing. Sky, you're still recovering. And those men might come back. And the infected. She paused, meeting his eyes. I know. But I can do this. Ernie stared at her, small, exhausted, bruised, and something in his chest twisted painfully. A protective instinct he didn't understand surged up, sharp and immediate. I don't like this, he admitted quietly. Sky softened. I'll be careful. I promise. Shadow walked over and pressed against her leg, as if agreeing with Ernie. Sky gave him a small smile. You too, huh? Ernie exhaled shakily. If you're going, you're not going unarmed. She nodded. What about a gun? Ammo? Ernie studied the boxes she was filling. Take one of the Glocks with 4 extra loaded mags. There's a green ammo box on the shelf, it holds 2,000 rounds. Seeds are there too. Add some. And grab How to Survive Off-Grid. I've got several copies. Hopefully it'll give them a leg up. He pointed toward the garage. There's a wagon in there and a side door. The keys to get back in are on the desk. Take your gun. Sky hesitated, then looked at him again, really looked. He was pale. Sweating. His shoulder wrapped. His breathing shallow. You shouldn't be sitting up, she said softly. I'm fine, Ernie lied. No, you're not. Her voice cracked before she could stop it. You're hurt. You lost blood. You can barely stand. If something happens while I'm out there. Ernie's expression softened. The worry in her voice hit him harder than the bullet had. I'll be right here, he said gently. I'm not going anywhere. Sky swallowed hard, forcing herself to keep packing. Shadow nudged her leg, sensing her distress. Ernie watched her, the tightness in her shoulders, the way she kept glancing at him like she was memorizing him before she left. Something warm and painful rose in his chest. Sky, he said quietly. You don't have to do this. Yes, I do. She met his eyes. Because you would. That landed. Hard. Ernie swallowed, unable to speak for a moment. Shadow moved closer to Sky, pressing against her leg protectively. She rested a hand on his head, grounding herself. I'll be fast, she whispered. And I'll come back. Ernie nodded, but his voice was rough when he said, just, be careful. Sky gave him a small, shaky smile. You too. Ernie looked at Shadow. Shadow, guard. Shadow immediately moved to Sky's side, ears alert. If they try anything, he'll attack, Ernie said. Then, after a beat, Shadow, family. He pointed to Sky again. He'll listen to your commands now. If you need to calm him, say, to my side. He only obeys his family. No one else. Sky swallowed. That word, family, hit her harder than she expected. She opened the garage door and pulled the wagon near the side exit. She could still hear the couple rummaging. She checked her cig, loaded the boxes, and slipped out with Shadow close behind. Ernie watched her go, jaw tight, heart pounding in a way he didn't understand. He whispered to himself, "Please come back." Sky rounded the building, and froze. Figures staggered toward the shop. The couple inside wasn't being quiet. If she didn't act, they'd be dead. Off to the side, a car sat running. Two small faces peered from the windows, watching the building. Sky left the wagon by the corner and assessed the situation. A few zombies were closer than the rest. Shadow growled low, ears pinned. Sky took a steadying breath and reached for her knife. The nearest zombie was only a few feet away. She remembered a self-defense book: kick the knee, drop the target. She struck hard. The zombie collapsed. She grabbed its hair and drove the knife through its ear. It went limp. Her stomach lurched. Shadow lunged at another zombie, jaws clamping around its neck. He shook until the head tore free. Sky stomped it to be sure. The last zombie staggered toward her. She repeated the process: kick, stab, and it fell. Breathing hard, tears stinging her eyes, she called out, "The couple in there, please show yourselves." The young woman stepped out first. "Mandy," the young man called. "David, the kids are out there," Mandy said, clutching a half-full box of crushed food. David stepped out, sighing. His box was slightly fuller, a gun slung at his hip. "My name is Sky," she said. "My friend and I want to help you. But you have to trust me. What do you want us to do?" "We've got nothing to offer. We were just passing through, hoping to find food," David said. "I don't want anything. This wagon here, the supplies in it should last you a while. There's info on survival. You were making so much noise I had to kill 3 zombies. Noise attracts them. Be quiet. Find somewhere with land. Grow food. There are seeds in the wagon. If you do it right, you'll be okay." Mandy's eyes filled. "I don't know what to say." "Don't say anything. Survive. Teach your kids to defend themselves. Remember, headshots only." Sky stepped back and watched as they loaded the supplies into their trunk and drove off. She turned to head back, and a zombie lunged from the shadows, grabbing her hair. It yanked her toward its gaping mouth, green-stained teeth dripping saliva. Sky screamed, struggling. Its bony hand tangled deeper in her hair. Shadow exploded forward, clamping onto its arm and dragging it down. Sky went with it, her hair still trapped. Pain shot through her hip as she hit the concrete. Shadow tore at the zombie's throat. Sky fumbled for her knife, flipped it open, and sawed through her own hair. She ripped free, scrambled upright, her hip screaming, and nearly fell again. "Shadow, to my side," she gasped. Shadow released the zombie instantly and returned to her. Sky raised her cig with shaking hands and fired a single shot into its skull. Limping, she made it to the door. Pain streaked through her hip as she unlocked it and slipped inside with Shadow close behind. She twisted the locks into place and slid down the steel door, tears spilling freely as her body shook. "Sky? Are you okay?" Ernie called, fear sharpening his voice. "A zombie grabbed my hair. I thought I was done for. Shadow saved me, but to get free I had to cut my hair. I need to fix this. It won't happen again. Do you have clippers?" Her voice trembled despite her effort to steady it. Ernie pushed himself out of bed, staggering toward the garage. Pain tore through his head and shoulder, but he could hear the fear in her voice. He had to get to her. When he saw her, he froze. Sky was slumped against the wall, a long scrape bleeding down her arm. Her face streaked with tears. Her body trembling. Her hair jaggedly hacked short on one side. Shadow pressed against her leg, protective and alert. She looked up at Ernie, blood dripping onto the concrete, fear and pain etched into her features, but no words came. Shadow, free, Ernie said softly. Shadow moved toward his bowls, giving them space. Sky, he said, voice low, unsure if she'd let him come closer.